So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Matt to talk about his a case study of how he went about purchasing a solution from the App Exchange. And yeah, like I said earlier, maybe going in a little bit to that build versus buy debate as well. So yeah, I'll let you crack on and just tell me when to click.
Yep, let's jump straight into what the problem was. This was one of those, you know, that oh no second it's called. I mean, it's not quite that bad. It's not like we completely dropped the ball, but there was a point, I think it was about 6 months ago now, and sat down with our company solicitor and we're working through, we've been doing an exercise with our sales organization, helping them with GDPR issues. And we've been working with our external consultants. And it was all, you know, kind of run-of-the-mill stuff. Yes, you can't print everything out and keep it in your briefcase. No, you can't just email who you want, that sort of thing. But one of the bits of advice was cold calls. And the advice was, ensure you check TPS, CTPS. For those of you who've never come across TPS and CTPS, telephone preference service always used to be a big thing in B2C. But with CTPS in particular, in B2B, which is what we are, so we sell into hospitals, doctors, surgeries, you name it, it's now, in trending law, it's the sort of thing you've got to be checking. And you can see there's big, huge, great big fines that you can be hit with, breaches of PSTR. And if you hit Google, you'll see even this last week, there've been some fairly huge fines. In truth, the fine's probably less of an issue for us. We just don't want to annoy our customers. And yeah, this is something that's come about partly because of COVID, was partly an industry trend anyway. But in all honesty, we'd never done cold calls before. Generally, our channel was face-to-face. So our reps would go in, knock on the door of the doctor's surgeries, generally turn up with something nice, and they'd have a chat, which is great. But thanks to COVID, thanks to the overworking of our GPs, hospitals, etc., that's now not possible. So one of the things our reps are wanting to do is to make direct marketing calls to new customers, new prospects. So to do that, we need to check TPS. What's the challenge? In truth, we didn't know how badly affected we were until we deployed the tool. But you can see here, actually, doctor surgery. So this is very rep heavy area for us. Lots of marketing involved. About 20% of doctors' surgeries and health centres are actually registered on either TPS or CTPS. Let's not get into the whys and wherefores. But it's a really critical issue for us if we're wanting to push this marketing-led approach. So if we jump to the next slide, we had to think about how we can resolve this. And, you know, we could have built this ourselves. We've got the technical expertise, we've got the know-how. I'll be honest, when I worked in B2C, I wrote several algorithms that did just this, checking the TPS. However, the TPS data itself is now quite expensive, and you have to license both TPS and corporate TPS. So actually, when we looked at it, it just didn't make sense for us to write it ourselves. So that was number one, tick aside. Number two, we've actually got a data managed system. Our data supplier couldn't provide that to us. And also, we didn't want to go down the route. There are other web-based portals you can use that you can stick in an individual phone number and check it. Let's be honest, our reps are never going to do that. It's not clear, it's slow, it's too risky. You know, we can't ensure compliance, so we needed a solution for that. So, as you'd expect, we hopped on the App Exchange, and there are 2 or 3 solutions for this. But the one that kind of comes out top with ratings, and also to call back to something Ruth mentioned earlier, there's a really good case study on that, not just ours. But we saw the eBury case study on there as well. So that again, you know, that really gelled. That really helped us to select the provider. And then made contact, saw that actually Ruth and Beth were coming around the user group. So again, that's another great thing to look for, is actually, are these people active in the community? Are they, you know, are they well regarded? And definitely ProvenWorks were. So yeah, we selected this. Going back to best practice, Tom, hello Tom, deployed this to one of our sandboxes. And again, if we skip to the next slide, yeah, the support was incredibly responsive. I think Tom's going to nod at me, but
yeah, I probably ended up speaking to half of ProvenWorks over this period with the amount of support questions that are pinged backwards and forwards. And I was told I was on first name terms with everyone in the office. So yeah, very much so.
Again, really, really great, really approachable, and genuinely simple to install. I say simple to install, I asked Tom.
No.
One of the other things that we've not talked about is leveraging the knowledge of the ISV. And as it happened, I mentioned our company solicitor when we looked at each other, when we kind of went, oh gosh, we need to do something about this. How could we possibly forget TPS? She'd gone off and done her research. I'd gone to the App Exchange. She happened to bring me this blog post from Ruth and said, these guys really know what they're talking about. You need to go and look at them. Normally, you know what happens when a muggle suggests something to you, like, okay, yeah, fine. Nothing to do with Salesforce, but we'll have a look. No, this was perfect. We brought each other the same solution. So yeah, and I think that blog post really helped us, Ruth. You know, it's something we'd completely overlooked. Like I say, traditionally TPS was a B2C thing. You know, it was never something you needed to worry about in the B2B world. And yet, you know what? Installing that, we were really pleased with it. There's a simple screenshot there. It's incredibly simple, but to make it that simple, to have all of the information in what we got there, 3 icons and a hover, I don't think we'd have arrived at that developing it ourselves. I think it'd be much more complex. You know, everything you need there is when's the next screen date due, which is now. Is it listed on TPS? Is it listed on CTPS? And by the way, this is Wythenshawe Hospital, so very Manchester. I'm actually not sure why they're on TPS and not CTPS, but that's another story for another day. But you can see this is really nice. There's actually a really nice quote that Beth teased out of me in the case study, which is, it takes longer to explain what the heck an unsolicited marketing call is, to explain the concept of what we're trying to do, than it does to explain the app. Yeah, I really love that. Big cross or a tick. Cross, no, don't call these guys, don't bother them. Tick. Away you go. So yeah, so long story short, why work with an ISV? Well, you can leverage their knowledge. You can save yourself a whole bunch of time. I think this is a really simple install. And, you know, within a few clicks, we've been able to mitigate a fairly hefty risk, help us with our sales process, and then, yeah, actually enhance our knowledge of TPS by leveraging the ProvenWorks' knowledge there.